Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Heidi, where you can stir your soul with Jesus while you wait for coffee to brew. And this morning I'm out here with my puppy, and I'm drinking from my mug from my church. So get your coffee started and let's look in the Word. So this month we're talking all about fear. It's October, and fear is a big theme. Everybody's like, ooh, let me scare myself to death. Well, I'm not a fan of that. But you know, one of the things that we often struggle with, one fear that is common to many people, is this idea of, what if I'm not enough? It's this question of our identity. What if I'm not enough to make my dream come true, to do anything significant for God? What if I'm not enough? And sometimes I think about people in the Bible, people whose stories we know that we think of as great. I think of Moses, who led God's people. I think of Abraham, who had the courage to go out into the unknown and follow God because there was a promise. These are people who lived with courage. What about Mary, who had the courage to say yes to the idea of being the mother of Jesus, the Son of God? What if these people had not lived in courage? What if they had said no? And sometimes I wonder, how many other people did God go to before he went to Moses who didn't say yes? We will never know how many people don't say yes to God and his invitation because they're afraid. But what we do know is that when people respond to God's invitation and take a step of courage with him, he comes through. And Philippians 2:13 tells us something really important as we think about this idea of, what can I do with my life, or what can I do with God? If there's something God is calling you to, Philippians 2:13 says, "It is God who is working in you, giving you both the desire to obey him and the power to do what pleases him." It is God who is working in us, both to get our will in the right place and to get our actions done in a way that brings glory to him and accomplishes more than we could on our own. It is God who is working in us. And if God is working in us, then we don't need to fear about doing that brave thing, or we don't need to fear that we're not enough, because God is enough. The interesting thing about this verse, Philippians 2:13, is that right before it, in Philippians 2:12, it says, be careful to put into action God's saving work in your life, obeying God with deep reverence and fear. So there's an interesting idea. If we're afraid of God, or if we're putting God's opinion as the heaviest weight in our life, stronger than any other fear we might face, if we are fearing God above all, what else is there to fear? I think we can handle this, people. All right? So go out, do hard things, live in courage, and don't fear.